Raise your frequency, raise your vibration. I was not good at being on long lockdowns or being in solitude when I first fell. It would tear me apart. It would eat me up inside. The what ifs, all the forecasts of how my life is going to go, what it was going to be like when I walked on that first prison yard. It's the same stuff you guys are going through right now when you're thinking about, are we going to be in martial law? Is this disease going to kill us all? You're thinking all these what ifs and all these negative forecasts. Don't take the power away from now. You have the power right now to enjoy and live your life. When you live in the future with these what ifs, you're taking all that away. So I'm going to show you how to take the power back, how to raise your frequency, raise your vibration, and lift yourself up to a level you've never known, so that when you step out of this lockdown, you're a changed person for the better instead of a fucking pussy who knew they bitched out during this shit. Because if you bitch out during this shit and you get all fearful, you start fucking, you run the train on yourself mentally, you're going to remember this. Go out like a real motherfucker. A real motherfucker goes out on his feet. He never stops working. And when there's no more work to do out there, we work in here, right in the heart. We work within. All this work needs to be done within right now. You guys have been blessed with the time to spend. So when we work on our morning process, what I've been preaching about the whole time, your morning process is your savior right now. This is going to cure you from all that negativity that's going to separate you from the closest people to you. When you're in isolation or you're in a cell with someone, and you guys aren't making positive actions, having positive thoughts, and just always thinking in the most optimistic way, you'll kill each other. This is what will happen. And if you're not super violent like prisoners are, well then you'll break up. You'll ruin your fucking relationship. You'll taint it with the negativity. There's no fucking way. If you engage in vices like overeating, drinking, smoking, doing drugs during this time, those vices are going to cause you to hate on yourself, because you know you want better for yourself in your heart. No one wants to engage in that shit. Nobody. I don't care who you are. You're lying if you say it. It's a vice, makes you feel like shit afterwards. When you feel like shit afterwards, you shit on those closest to you. I do it all the time when I cheat on my diet. That's when I say, hey, I don't cheat on my diet because I want to be kinder and sweeter and more loving to my wife. Because when I cheat on my diet, my baseline discipline drops. When baseline discipline drops, my weaknesses are paramount. My weaknesses are my anger and my reactive time. Don't fall victim to your vices, thus lowering baseline discipline and causing you to be an asshole to your people during this lockdown. So that's something we've gone over before, but let's go right into the signs that you're raising your frequency through your process. We all know the process. Early wake up time, earlier than you want to. Make sure you make yourself proud with your ability to wake up earlier than you fucking want on all these times. Earlier, the better. You'll surprise yourself on how much this will mean to you to start your day off chasing your goals and chasing self-betterment. It is the biggest thing. It makes you so proud when you break that pleasureful sleep for purposeful action. That's why it's so powerful. It's the epitome of gratitude. It's the epitome of grateful. So when we wake up in this manner, we've already invested in ourselves so much by denouncing the pleasureful sleep for the purposeful action. It's massive. This is so huge. We go straight into something that resonates with us, our reading. After that, obviously the workout. The workout is extending our life through action, through sacrifice, through hard work. This is also, all this stuff is bundled up to make you in the most grateful state possible. The most grateful state possible links you to higher intelligence. When you're linked to higher intelligence, you will have the correct answers about every situation. Not just this one, not just that one, every situation. That's why I start every day by linking myself to higher intelligence. This is where you find your answers. You don't find them through me. Goggins don't get them to you, nor does Robbins. It doesn't come from anybody else. It comes from you. It's fucking being supplied perfectly for you and what you're going through. So learn how to tap in during this time and carry it through life. Be a messenger. Don't just be someone following the fucking crowd. When you learn this, you'll learn everything, and you'll continue to learn daily from the wisdom of the ages and all the information supplied by the universe. It sounds like some fucking crazy shit, but this is how I don't create content. I tap in. I'm showing you guys how to tap in. I'm showing you how to find your path for life. So once you start to go through this process more and more and more and more, you get more and more pride from it, more and more gratitude, more grateful, exponentially, day by day by day by day. So then we go right into how we start to feel when we raise our frequency. When we start to raise our frequency, we go from panic to planning. Now, our plan gives us so much clarity on our path. Everybody's confused on what to do at times like this. So this is what we do. This is how we find the answers. We don't find the answers by stressing about them. We find the answers by gaining clarity through our self-reflection process and our growth process. Now, when there's more clarity, there's less confusion. And then that goes right into our sense of purpose. Our sense of purpose makes every interaction, no matter how small or remote, even through fucking Instagram, IG, all this shit, even if it's remote, it makes everything more significant because we are in isolation. We do want it more. We crave it more. We've always wanted what we don't have more as humans. So every interaction is more significant. You feel it deeper. So our perspective will start to change at this point as we raise our frequency, and we won't sweat the small stuff. Yes, we will have stress. We will know that that is a good thing because stress keeps us motivated on problem solving. You should stress about the problems you have so that you come up with a solution. You shouldn't stress so much that you give up or turn to a vice. You should stress so that you find the solution. This is what productive people do. So we've raised our vibration so much to where we've elevated ourselves to a level of oneness, to where you no longer feel that you have to go grab the last roll of toilet paper or not shake that person's hand or stay away from everybody. You have a sense of oneness that we're all in this together, that you're not on a lockdown in your house, that everybody's riding with you, and we're all going to get through this. Optimism is at its highest state. I've done a lot of fucking time. And a lot of the times when I first started doing time, I felt like I was alone because I was just missing my people on the street. Once I started learning how to really do time, I knew I was in it with all my people and everybody in that building. I could sense that they had the same amount of pain as me, and I could fucking compartmentalize the fact that, guess what, Wes? What's going on with you isn't the only problem in the fucking universe. And the fact is that man down the street probably cares less about stubbing his toe than he would care about hearing in the news that you died. So the fact is don't be that. Don't be that person. Care more about the next person. Share more love. Have more of a connection. People haven't mistaken that I yell on here that I don't love. This is tough love. This is what worked for me. In the penitentiary, I changed many lives with this same fucking form of teaching. This same form of fucking education. This is self-education. I'm showing you your process. I love when people say, hey, I felt the process and I found my answers through it. The amount that I wanted to dedicate towards fitness, the amount that I wanted to dedicate towards self-growth, the amount I wanted to dedicate towards my spirituality. This is all fucking changing at all times. Like, you're going to always spend some amount of percentage in one more than the other, and it's shifting back and forth due to your certain circumstances. You guys use this time. There's nothing out there for you anymore. You have to go within. Stop looking for external solutions to internal issues. This is clear. Every single thing that ails us as human beings, the cure already exists inside us. I've gone through this forever. I had all the pain you could imagine going through this, all the loss, all the what ifs, all the drama in your head. I've had it times a million. And I knew I could combat it with this process. This process is everything. You will always feel pain. It will never not be there. But your ability, our ability to fucking combat it from within with our newfound strength will be paramount after this lockdown. You need to know this. You need to not let yourself down. The second you quit investing in yourself at the highest degree is when all your problems will come in 10 fucking fold. Let's go. Tells it to you. It's a fact. You can't just choose to love yourself or respect yourself. This is earned by the actions we take to love and respect ourselves. If the actions we take aren't congruent with the feeling we wish to have for self, we do not earn it. Everything in this life is earned, and guess what? Perfect. All external solutions to our internal issues have been taken away, so now it's time to really do that internal work. During this time, you're going to be exercising. Everybody's doing push-ups, and I love it. I love it. I love seeing you guys do this. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to come across some nagging pains. Nagging pains are just that. If it's not a massive injury, you can work through it. Blood flow will heal you. In the penitentiary, dudes have massive fucking hernias. Massive. I'm talking about hanging out the front of them in a sack. Dudes ball sacks with their fucking intestines just falling down in them, stretching down all crazy. Yeah, it seems graphic, but this is the level we have in there. This is the mindset. I don't give a fuck if you got a big old hernia. Oh well, you're going anyways, because we want you to be strong enough to die right next to us when this shit happens. You don't know how far this shit's gonna go. How do you know? So why aren't you strengthening yourself? Nobody knows how far today or tomorrow's gonna go. A motherfucker could test you on the street right now. Are you ready, motherfucker? Better get ready. Life is preparation. Been saying it. I've been saying it. In the pen, you can't take the day off. You can't take a day off. And guess what? Injuries, they're great teachers. They teach you what not to do. I'm always shocked how people injure themselves. Motherfucker, it's your body. Aren't you listening to it? Or are you just guessing? You don't feel whether that feels right or not? Like, this is why it's so important to spend time with yourself. And I'm not talking about just physically spending time with yourself. Mentally spending time with yourself. I've been getting up at 2:45 for 10 plus years for this exact reason. To spend time with myself, to get to know myself and the inner workings of my mind, as you should be getting to know the inner workings and the workings of your the mechanics of your body. You have to know yourself. You do. All these basics, these exercises I'm showing on my Instagram, these are basics. The basics work. If you consistently apply the simple techniques that everyone's been using, it works. So the fact is, not only physically, but mentally spend time with yourself. And don't make the mistake of thinking that everybody's locked in the same room so you don't have time alone. Your workout could be that alone time. You don't have to put on music and mindlessly work out all aggressive to get it done. I believe that's weaker because I've done both. When I sit there more peaceful with more emotion and I'm working out and I'm thinking and I'm reflecting and I'm noticing myself talking, who I am at that moment. This is time spent with self. It's a form of meditation. The fact is, you're going to have to spend time with yourself right now, regardless of if you like it or not, and regardless of if people are in the room or not. There's less distractions, so you're in your own head more. If you don't like being in your own head, if you don't like spending time alone, it's fact that you're in bad company. Don't find yourself in bad company with self. Make that your happy fucking place. Make that your sanctuary within. This is what it should be. They say your body is your temple. It is. I've been there with just me and was totally fine. Usually my biggest problems on the street are other people. My biggest problems out here are other people, but that's okay because I see it as growth. If I don't necessarily like the way someone's acting, or I don't like being around someone or how they respond to me, I just personally take that as growth and I say, hey Wes, you're meant to be more patient at this time. This is a learning lesson. Everything is happening for you. Life happens for you. This is the winner's mindset. This is the winner's mindset. I'm talking about the way we perceive everything is shaping who the fuck we are. And these dudes in the penitentiary with the hernias, with the fucking bum knees, with all this shit, they still gotta get it in. You don't get a choice. Everybody's too soft. You don't get to opt out of what's best for you. And guess what? If you do have a fucked off knee, well, it's time to spend more time understanding your macros. I could get you in better shape off macros alone and no exercise than I could off all the exercise in the world and no macros being tracked. 100%. That's fact. Fact. If you don't have the nutrition, it's not going to happen. How did I get the nutrition in the pen? Comprehension. I comprehended how to look at a tray and understand what's working for me and what's not. Was the protein deficient and lacking most of the time? Yes, but I forced myself past it. Your body's not going to just turn catabolic on muscle tissue if you're using it consistently. That's the main reason behind this lockdown of stimulating every muscle group as often as possible, is to prevent catabolic activity. Catabolic activity is when your body turns carnivorous on your muscle tissue. If you're not using the muscle tissue and you're not getting enough nutrients, then your body's going to eat that muscle tissue for energy. It's going to cannibalize that muscle tissue. It's called catabolic activity, catabolism. You don't want that to happen on lockdowns or on fucking massive prison fucking sentences and all this shit. So what you do is you make sure you're using everything. You're not going to work out every body part every day, but it's a good thing to do is to go from upper body, lower body, or at least stimulate every muscle group 2 times a week. So now we're just stimulating. It doesn't have to be the best exercise. Your body only knows tension. So you have to fucking focus. Make that muscle work. Put it through the ringer. Make sure that you're fucking fatigued at the end. This is where everybody fails. They're not thinking enough. Think, understand, comprehend. If you've been in the gym or if you've been working out long enough and you're not getting your results, it's because you're not understanding your nutrition or you're not having that mind-muscle connection that helps. The mind-muscle connection is everything. If you're not making the muscle as long as possible and as short as possible on each set, most sets, or doing other shit to shorten the muscle, some sets, lengthen them on other sets, you got to work it through the full range. So stop wanting a direct plan. Try to seek to comprehend and work backwards. On my programs, I don't just say, here's a fucking plan, eat by it. I teach you macros so that you can understand how to eat. You don't want to just fucking be told what to do. You want to comprehend so that you can add to it. So many times my clients made up better meal plans than I could have ever for themselves because I taught them macros. I taught them to understand how fats, proteins, and carbs work. Now, most of my fucking workouts that I'm going to do on this lockdown are for fortitude. I want my mind strong so that I can be strong for you guys and my family and my people. So it's for fortitude. I'm making sure that I hit that fucking wall on my burpees every time I get out there. I hit that wall and I jump that motherfucker. No fucking shit. Everybody who's been in the gym hitting weights for so long, put the weights down. Go for fortitude right now. Or better yet, both. Make your at-home weights and push yourself with the burpees. Don't find yourself that motherfucker still focused on his physique so much he forgot to create some internal strength during this precious fucking time. This time is precious. This time is precious. Like I said, all your external distractions have been taken away. All the solutions you used to have to fix your internal issues are gone. Now you're on the right path. You're directly on the right path. This is where all the answers lie. Every fucking thing that has ever ailed a human being since he was created already fucking exists within him. This, with these weak-ass circumstances that everybody's referring to as a lockdown. Can you do 10 like this? Would that crush your little heart? I've already accepted the fact that the world's never going back to normal. Never. How much does that hurt you? Is your expectation that the world's going to return to normal? Is it going to crush you when it doesn't? Because the fact is the real ones, they just do exactly what they can do every day to create and validate themselves from within. When everything's taken, you're going to realize that you were really validating yourself from everything else in this world except who you were able to be and create. Imagine these guys on lockdown doing life. Imagine these guys doing life on lockdown. They're never getting out. How do they face that day? How? Because I only did 10 like this. Way worse than this, I only did 10. Way less shit, way less freedom, handcuffed, going everywhere outside of your cell, showing your butthole every day. I mean, you guys, this is nothing. It's nothing. You're getting a fucking first-hand dose of who you are right now. Who you are when shit's fucking negative is who you are. You ain't who you think you are when everything's going your way and you're fucking putting out them positive quotes on here. Hey, do better, everybody. Everybody, put your best foot forward. Who the fuck were you when shit went bad? Were you positive when there was no fucking reason to get up? Could you get up when you weren't being forced to get the fuck up? Who the fuck? This is the fucking determining factor of who the fuck you are right now, not when shit's good. That shit don't mean shit to me. Don't mean shit. Straight up, digging deep is one thing. Digging deeper when all shit's negative around you is a whole nother fucking story. Whole different ball game. I know how to live like this. And I only did 10. Plenty of people did 17, 25. Some motherfuckers ain't getting out. This is your new reality, the new world. Can you accept that? Because the quicker you can, the quicker you're going to win regardless. Nothing's going to break you. You're not going to be shocked when anything doesn't go your fucking way. It's the power to fucking thrive in a situation like this. Not only survive, fuck surviving, thriving. Let it resonate for a second. Can you come out better? Can you come out better when every fucking excuse that you have is valid? Because it's all valid right now. You lost your job. You don't have a gym. There's no fucking... Dude, every excuse is valid. You have all of them right now. Are you going to run with them? Or are you going to be that dude who says, fuck that, I'm going to make it happen regardless? Because that dude, that mindset, that motherfucker gets everything done. How do I know? Because I know that motherfucker. I met him in the mirror when I dropped my fucking excuses and quit being a bitch. Motherfuckers are coming up with all of them left and right. I mean, can you guys quit saying you're on lockdown? Can you quit fucking pumping it up? Don't you realize that everything in this life is serious and nothing is tragic? Nothing is a tragedy. Nothing. Not this, not death, nothing. Nothing. Everything is serious. If you put your heart and take all the small steps very seriously, 90% of you motherfuckers wouldn't even be having a problem right now. You would have been fucking living life, like I said, as preparation and taking precautions for this time. I don't give a fuck about your circumstances. I could find the holes and the gaps and the fucking missteps in your fucking current circumstances, regardless of how they were, so you could have prepped for this. I could. The only people who can't find those are the ones who don't want to find them. Because of what? They're afraid to step in that motherfucking mirror. That mirror will tell you everything. Some dumb shit got in the comments one day when I was talking about the accountability mirror in the shoe. The accountability mirror I met in prison. And he said, Wes, there's holes in your story. You said there wasn't mirrors in prison. Oh my, what the fuck? I was talking about a hypothetical mirror. The mirror we see ourselves in. You stupid motherfucker. I hope you're reading this. I hope you're fucking watching this shit. Fuck. Spend some time with yourself. Learn more. Grow more. Laser focus on these weaknesses and level the fuck up. Realize that you could have to do 10 right now with your dipshit behavior when you want to go drink and drive, when you want to go punch that dude at the bar. Motherfucker, they shouldn't let you out. The only time you're ready to get off lockdown is when you don't give a fuck about getting off lockdown. And the only time you're ready to get paid for living your best life is when you live your best life, regardless of if you get paid or not. That's what works. All the fucking people who ever made it in life, they were going to choose their path regardless of if they got paid or not. All the greats. It's what they loved. It's their passion. It was their purpose. You need to find yours now. Your conscience is supplying it moment by moment, day by day. Your conscience, your higher self is supplying your vision that's only meant for you. That's why only you can see it, and you don't listen to anybody else who tells you not to walk it and live it. The system society created is meant to fail the spirit. You can't even hear yourself. Your higher self is blunted out when we have all these distractions. So right now you can hear it loud and clear. It's telling you, oh, you bitch, you slept in too long. Oh, you stupid motherfucker, what do you want to get fatter by eating that shit? I always resort back to sleep and food and a workout because that's where it comes when it gets simple like this. In simple times, you really get to realize who you are because there is no variables that you can blame. There's no blame game here. It's all just you. There's no excuse. You're choosing. You're fucking... And then when you're able to transfer this back to a more detailed life, you can live this simple life, realize it's all you're choosing, and then you can bring it back to that more detailed life that has more fucking intricacies, more variables, and you can apply the wisdom you gained right now to that and motherfucking win. This shit ain't fucking rocket science. This shit ain't. It's all about who the fuck you are and how accountable you are to creating the man in which you admire. If you ain't creating the man you admire, you're on the sidelines for life, motherfucker. And your environment doesn't automatically dictate who you're going to become. Every motherfucking dude in the pen is fat. They don't look good. They fucking got tits. They do shitty workouts and they don't have much fucking character. 98% of them. Guess what? It's kind of like the street. It's kind of like the street. Excuses exist in both places. Excuses just don't disappear since you get in a new environment. If you're an excuse-having motherfucker, you have them in every environment. And if you're a fucking go-getter who has solid habits, solid character, solid discipline, you have that in every motherfucking environment, regardless of who you are. Only a weak motherfucker becomes a product of his environment in a negative way. A leader, a real motherfucker. He creates who he wants to be regardless of his fucking environment. He don't give a shit. He knows his fucking truth. He knows who he wants to be. Become that motherfucker. Don't get around people and let them dictate your vision. Oh, everybody else was eating that and drinking that and doing that, so I decided to. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's what you're telling your fucking conscience. That's what you're telling the universe. That's what you're telling your higher self. Hey, fuck you. I'd rather stay down here. Well, guess what? You can stay down here. You can stay down there. The only way to stay motherfucking average, stay common, is to have the same excuses as them average common motherfuckers. Get the fuck up and create who you want to be today. No exceptions. Wake up. Tell yourself who the fuck you are to get to my current stage of growth. In all reality, I've spoke with some of the highest people in the game, and one of my mentors, my good friend Bedros, he says that most top dudes read 5 books in their life. 5 books. I'm going to give you my top 3. They read 5 and they reread them. Obviously, people read a bunch more books, but these 5 main ones facilitate your growth and become who you are. They shape the level of thought pattern that you currently have. My ability to tap into higher intelligence came from one book in particular, but let me explain how I don't fucking tell people to read books. I tell them to read quotes because the end goal is to increase cognition, not just simply read. It can have the adverse effect if you simply just read books and you're not thinking about what you read. In all reality, you should spend more time thinking about what you read than actually thinking. So every morning I read the quickest passage I can read, the quickest quote I can read, the quickest verse I can read, and then I spend about an hour or 45 minutes really reconstructing it in my own words and thinking about how it applies to my life, thus running through a mental exercise and increasing cognition. So the fact is why would you go to a secondhand source when you got the plug's number? When you got the plug's number, you go to the plug. That's why I don't read no more. I got the plug's number. The plug is higher intelligence. The plug is infinite intelligence. The plug is the universe. And that's why all these messages are the same. I keep saying it ain't no Robbins, it ain't no Goggins, there ain't no Watson. There's none of this. There's none of this. There is messages being delivered and then deciphered and passed on to you guys. We're passing on the knowledge and information and messages to you guys. And I know you can get them. And I want to help you. That's why I always preach that morning process. That's why I say, hey, you want answers? The fucking floor is right there. Go get your money. Go get your answers. That's why I say that. Because I find my answers in the morning. I go to the gym to find my answers. I find answers about who the fuck I am and who I'm yet to be. But let's get into these books because I'll get fucking sidetracked, as you guys know I do. I'll start just talking about growth. One of my favorite fucking books, the very first book I picked up when I gave up. First, I gave up on all fucking vices and all negative acts that I could in the pen. Obviously, I still had to fucking check people, handle business, and conduct the fucking and have the conduct of a fucking inmate, of a convict, of a Cali CDC GP motherfucker. Had to do a certain level of shit, but I denounced a lot of it, everything I could. So the fact is, the first book I picked up was Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What stood out to me most in this book is the energy exchange I speak of. This energy exchange in the book came as a story. These 2 parents had a kid, and he wasn't that good at sports. He wasn't the most fucking physically efficient kid on the block. He wasn't the most physically efficient kid on the block. And his parents knew this. So in their subconscious, they always placated him a little bit. They always gave him a little leeway. They always accommodated his shortcomings in this area, which is what we don't do. By accommodating his shortcomings and seeing him as less is what those parents, where they fucked up. They hindered his ability to grow and get better at these sports by doing that. When they rewired their subconscious to see his strengths, to only see the best and believe the best in him, their son went on to excelling in physical activities because they treated him differently. They raised him they raised their vibration and frequency towards him, thus raising his. When we think about people, that's why I'm such a good coach. I'm going to say it. That's why I'm so good at being a coach. And I love it. That's why I'm so good. Because I only see your higher self. I only see what you could be. That's why I get frustrated when you're not being it. Because I know it's a lot easier to be the best version of yourself than to live as a shoddy motherfucking version of yourself. But that's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And I love that book. It has so much other shit. Gems upon gems. Read it. It's one of the must-reads that I've experienced in my life. Another one comes from the great, a man so far before his time. It would fuck your mind up to read all his books at once, or even many chapters at once. You read his books slowly, and you fucking increase your cognition. You increase your thought capacity to a level you never knew. Humans operate out of capacities, and when you consistently work on your capacity for these areas, you increase your ability. So Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. It's a conversation between a man and the devil. And in this, he depicts karmic debt to a T. This is what stopped me from doing my shit. This right here, I was still doing dirt. Not as much as before, but I was still doing dirt when I came across this book, and this made me stop. 98% of the dirt I couldn't avoid. I tried to avoid it at every cost after I read this, and I knew karmic debt to be true. We all fucking know karma's true, you motherfuckers. Follow that. Karmic debt. It is in the book. He depicts it as we are given 24 hours each day, and through our positive acts, those 24 hours are productive. You can pull off anything you want in those 24 hours. If your will is there to pull it off and you're willing to work for it, you're given those 24. But through your negative acts, you're punished an eye for an eye with time. And I always say this, you guys have heard me say it before. Go argue with someone on the phone or in person and realize how you're attached to that event, to the severity of which you argued with them for an allotted amount of time. If you really cuss that person out, call them some shit, treat them like shit, you'll probably be attached to that moment in time for about 3 to 4 hours. So for the next 3 to 4 hours after that moment passes, you will not have productive time on this planet. That is karmic debt, and it's just as bad. It can go as bad as life in prison, to where you never have a productive day because you were such a piece of shit. It's always on your subconscious. You're never able to get it off your mind. Or 7 years is when I felt my karmic debt lift. 5 to 7 years is where I felt my karmic debt lift when I quit adding to that shit. I quit adding to my karmic debt. And it lifted around 5 to 7 years for the heinous acts I used to do on the street before I went to prison and was incarcerated. So karmic debt is what I learned mainly. These are some main points I learned from these books. Karmic debt's one of the main points I learned from Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. One of the next books, so profound, so massive, written in such a quality format. Oh my, it's how I would love to read a book. Perfectly done. 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class by Steve Siebold. This book is perfectly written. You need to read this book. This is the man. I knew about self-talk. I spent so much fucking time with myself. I knew my self-talk more than I knew anybody else. So I knew about self-talk. But the way Steve Siebold teaches you to solidify your core principles and who you are with your self-talk is fucking groundbreaking. That man he's like my fucking brother from another fucking mother, Steve Siebold. He also in other books goes on to depict how being fat fucks up your business. And this is all so fucking true. It's so fucking true. Who we are when we do the fucking dishes is who we are in our fucking workout. If you fucking sacrifice all your pleasures to get up so fucking early every day for over a decade, there's no fucking way you're going to let your goals slip through your fingers for some fucking instant gratification. You will not bend. I want this so bad for you guys. Read these books. You guys have been asking me for my book picks for a long time. So here it is, and this is the perfect timing. Everyone's going to be reading a lot. So the fact is I believe you should go to the fucking source if you're at that level. If you're not at that level, it's okay. Drop your fucking ego. A lot of times people's ego gets in the way of them leveling up. If you haven't spent a lot of time with yourself, reflecting, understanding who you are, solidifying your core principles and values through your self-talk, if you haven't spent time doing this, then you shouldn't expect to be good at it. A lot of motherfuckers, they go into something expecting to be good at it so quick that they fucking quit. Motherfuckers quit tracking their macros so quick because they can't understand it. Stress management is a key to your fucking potential. Manage stress better. How do you manage it better? Drop your fucking ego. You're not supposed to know all this shit so quick. Embrace it. Sit with yourself. Get frustrated. Overcome it. Make yourself proud. I love you guys. This is the time. This is the time for you guys to step up. Let's grow life right now. The whole world is on lockdown. I'm going to break down the different types of lockdown you go through in the Cali penitentiary system. CDC, California Department of Corrections, starts off as such. When you fucking first get busted, you go to what's called reception. This is where they check your background, make sure you don't have enemy concerns, and you have very limited access. You won't be able to use the phone. You won't be able to go to yard unless they call it, which is rare because people are getting stabbed every time you leave the cell. The reason people are getting stabbed is because people rolled up with bad paperwork. There's people with charges that are despicable and they have to be dealt with. So during reception, you get called for your draw, your canteen draw, which is once a month. Once a month, you'll be able to go full pull for canteen if you have money. So you'll be able to get your hygiene, your food, and just different supplies like that. You can't buy clothes or any CD players or property or anything at this time. You just get canteen, you just get food and hygiene. So once you've been through reception for about 3 months where you're stuck in your cell 23 hours a day, unless they call yard, which is rare, then after reception, you go to what's called the main line. The main line is GP, General Population. That's what my channel is called. General Population, there's a different set of guidelines. The guidelines in General Population, once you hit the line, what we refer to it as the main line, you get one box every 3 months. This box is 464 ounces, 30 fucking pounds of dog shit ass food and fucking supplies that you can get. Hygiene, clothes, CD player, you can get a TV, you can get all this stuff. The TV is what's called a special purchase. So you can get one of those a month, a special purchase, and a CD player as a special purchase. But in your 30-pound box, this is what people are gonna get. Their fucking Folgers, their soups, their fucking pouches of meat, their beans, their shit to make spreads. When I was in there, everybody was making rice bowls. Spreads were kind of obsolete. Fools would still make burritos and spreads and shit, but we were making rice bowls. We would get the sweet summer sausage, the Chinese sausage, and then we would get pouches of rice. We would get the hard wonton noodles. We would get the sweet and hot sauce, and then we get some soy sauce. We mix up some sugar. We would heat up some hot water and cook the meat. Put some sugar, some sweet and hot sauce, and some soy sauce, and make a bomb mixture. Make some rice bowls. But in GP, you get your 30-pound box once every 3 months. They're called a quarterly package. They come from vendors like Walking Horse, Access, and different package vendors like this. So there's just so many different things you could get once you've hit GP. So GP, you also, every month, you can get your canteen draw. So you can see how if people have money, they can be stocked up. You could have a shitload of food. You could eat good. Everyone's like, you can't eat good in prison. And just like anywhere else, if you got money, you could eat good in prison. Trust me, some dudes in prison eat a lot better than people out here. They do. They find out hustles. If you're really killing it like most fools do in there, you're getting multiple packages. I mean, when I was on, so this is GP. So let's move. GP is like this. You're freely moving about. You're able to go to yard every day when they call it. You're moving about life. You're living a good life. But on these 3 and 4 yards, and even 2 yards, shit goes on lockdown when you can't move about. There's no yard. There's no movement. You go on what's called a racial-based lockdown. So the whites, for a few years, were on these racial-based lockdowns because white boys were stabbing white boys. So I'm in my cell. I'm watching everybody else, every other race, move about and live their normal life. And while you're on a racial-based lockdown, they restrict everything. They restrict your packages, your canteen, everything for about the first month. And then they start slowly giving you shit back. It's like a lift plan. So they're slowly giving you your fucking, all your pleasantries back to your life. And you can slowly start to readjust. And you're like, fuck, I don't want to live like that again. I didn't have coffee. I didn't have no food. I just had my 3 fucking trays. And it was shitty. So this makes people act right. It makes people fucking act right when you break them. Pain is the fucking precursor for growth. And people grow and mature when they're faced with enough pain. The fact is like I keep saying, you guys aren't going to be able to come off this lockdown when unless you've experienced enough pain to realize that changes need to happen in your fucking life. And there's too many fucking victims on social media right now talking about shit that's out of their control. Motherfucker, it happened. Done. Move the fuck on. The quicker you move on, the better you're going to be. Like, what are you going to do if they slam the door and said, no, you ain't going outside, bitch? What are you going to do? Kick it? Cry? Write letters? Fuck that. You're going to work on yourself. That's what we fucking do. So the racial-based lockdowns, I'm in my cell, and when I first fell, it was hard for me. So I get it if it's hard for you. I was smoking a shitload of weed. I was doing drugs. I was drinking, all that shit. And I would trade my food for more weed because I just wanted to escape reality. Like, the reality of it was rough for me. So then I would escape reality mainly with weed at the start. And one time I would get my food, my canteen, and trade it for weed. So I get like a 50 ball. It's like a speck, dude. A 50 ball is like a chapstick cap packed. So if you grabbed a chapstick cap and you packed it with weed, that's what $50 was at that time at that prison. And everybody was out programming. The blacks, the northerners, the southsiders, the paisas. Everybody was out programming in the day room except the whites because there were so many stabbings going on with the white race. So I would call over what people don't realize, when I say we don't work with each other, like we don't fuck with blacks, we don't fuck with these people. We have certain rules that we can't drink, we can't sit by them, we can't have the same bars. There's segregation of that sort, but there's no segregation when it comes to the drug trade. There's no segregation when it comes to usage of cell phones or anything criminal. So that's the crazy part about it. So I would buy some weed off the northerner homies, the northerner homie Gordo, and he always wanted $50 worth of those Hair's jalapeno popper bags. They were like $1 bags of like these fucking, like basically like cheese puffs that were jalapeno flavored, and motherfuckers would make burritos out of them, put them in that shit, whatever. But this is the different types of lockdowns. When you're on a long racial-based lockdown, that's the worst type because you're not going to yard, you're not coming out your cell, you don't get packages, you don't get canteen. And these can last up to a year at a time. Not coming out your fucking cell for a year at a time. And when it's a long racial-based lockdown, you don't even want to come out of your cell. You don't want to go to medical. You don't want to be pulled out of your cell for nothing because most of the time the cops will pull you out when the race you're feuding with, the race you have beef with is out, so they can watch you fucking get them up. So they can watch you guys fucking just take it out on each other, stab each other, beat the fuck out of each other, whatever. They'll put you in that predicament, especially if you're a bitch who's kicking the door, whining, or riding up the facility like you have some sort of civil rights or something, which you don't, motherfucker. You don't. They're taken. They're done. They're done. So anyways, the long racial-based lockdowns are the worst. You would think the shoe's the worst, but it's not. But in the shoe, this is the breakdown of how the shoe works. In the shoe, you get one quarterly package, one 30-pound box every year. One 30-pound box, 464 ounces of everything you need every fucking year. That's it. That's it. Like most people don't even make it long enough to get their one package. So they sit back there with nothing but their canteen draw. So now when you're in the shoe, your canteen draw is only $55. Motherfucker, that's enough for soap and a baby jar of coffee and a little bit of food. And in the shoe, they pour all your shit in plastic bags, or paper bags. So you don't really want to get a shitload of soups and shit like that. You basically are going to live off your coffee and your hygiene. You're going to stay clean and have some fucking coffee. Maybe buy some pouches if you're balling like that, and you could get other people in the shoe to go to canteen for you because you got that hustle. That's just how it is. So the point is you're living off nothing. You're living off fucking nothing in there. You get to go out to the cages, the little cages for 1 hour a day, and then you're stuck in your cell for 23 hours. You shower every other day. When you come out of your cell every time, you strip out, show your fucking butthole, cuff up, and then go to the shower cuffed up, and they uncuff you in the shower. You guys think you fucking are on lockdown? Fuck. This creates a whole different type of beast when you live in this manner. And then it's a whole different type of beast when you learn to love to live in that manner. You have to learn to take pride. You have to learn to take the utmost pleasure in not being pleased, motherfucker, in not being pleased. This is a man that will fucking win. I like the pain. I used to sit on my rack in tears knowing that I found the fucking answer to life. Knowing I found the answer to life. And the answer was that pain. And not this fucking pussy princess amount of pain. I'm talking about the fucking pain that beats you an inch from your fucking death. But you choose to stand the fuck up and win, motherfucker. I've been talking about cell living. So now you guys get a first-hand dose of what it's like to be stuck in a small space for a long period of time. And you're not even in a small space, because a 6x9 cell in Cali is much different than how we're living now. Like I said on my IG recently, I did not see the fucking night sky for that whole amount of time with the air hitting my face. I saw it through windows. That was about it. These lockdowns were different. You have a lot of freedom. Don't think it can't get worse, because you got to be ready when it does. So the fact is, cell living is a trip. You're with another man in a fucking bathroom for extended periods of time. On the longest lockdown I've been on a racial-based lockdown. A racial-based lockdown is just different. You don't get as many fucking any of your pleasantries because your race has been consistently fucking up. So just you are on lockdown. Unless it's a riot or something, and then all races are on different lockdowns depending on who rioted. If, say, the whites and the blacks rioted, then they're both on lockdown away from each other. If the homies, the Southsiders and the blacks rioted, then they're both on lockdown. Everybody else is out. So, one time I was on the biggest racial-based lockdown. It was just whites on whites. White guys kept stabbing white guys because there was bad motherfuckers on the yard. They were all bad. We use that term all bad when you're a PC, when you're a chomo, when you're a piece of shit, anything like that, you're done. You're done. So there was a lot of dudes on this yard that were all bad, and fools were making the call, pulling their cards, checking their paperwork, checking Megan's Law, figuring out there was chomos. So when they figured that out, fools got to get whacked. So one after another, fools kept getting whacked. So the whites started off on a 60-day lockdown, was turned into a 90-day, was turned into 180 days. And this was one that we were on that was just, it kept extending because every time we came out, fools would just grab some dope, someone would get whacked, we'd go back on lockdown. So the thing is when you're on lockdown like that with your cellie, it's all about conducting the proper program, giving the motherfucker their space, and everybody both working on being positive. During this time, we had just fell. Like, I just hit the line in Sentinella on Sea Yard. I just hit the line, and shit was already cracking. I'm like, fuck, I don't even get to use the fucking phone. Barely used the phone for like 2-3 times. Bam, shit happened, went on lockdown. White boys kept whacking white boys. So as we go on lockdown, I had already lucked out, and a special purchase package came for me. I didn't even know it was coming. My OG uncle, Mike Jones from SFVs from the Valley, old school white boy, 2 8-year terms under his belt. He knows the get down. Just recently died from complications to Hep C and other diseases he picked up in the system. Like, rest in peace, big homie. You know what's up. But the thing was I was just chilling and I didn't even fucking know. I didn't even know. But he sent me a fucking TV, and we could get those LCD TVs, a little 10-inch LCD TV that you can put in your cell, and you plug it in, you get a few stations, and you're chilling. You got your fucking TV. It wasn't like a week of that. I turned this shit off. I pushed it towards the wall. Fucking obviously massive respect for my uncle for just knowing and sending that. But I didn't want the TV no more. It was just causing me to hard time. In the pen, we call it hard timing. When we think too much about shit that's out of our control. Don't hard time right now. The way to not hard time is to stick to being productive. Knowingly raising your vibration, raising your frequency, raising your energy. This is done through the things I talk about. The exercise, reading positive shit, staying fucking in a positive mind state. People always ask me, how do you keep your energy high? I'm like, motherfucker, I'm accountable to my goddamn energy. I'm accountable to my motherfucking energy. So when my energy starts failing, I am accountable to it and I go pick it up. Don't just let your energy fail and then wait for the fucking pixie fairy to come fucking pick your ass up. You have it in you to pick yourself up at any fucking moment. So I turned my TV around and I started focusing on these 3 workouts a day. I started reading every quote book I can, handwriting them down, whole books. 800-page quote books, handwriting them down on paper. I started reading a few different books over and over that I liked. Only a few different books because that's all you have. You don't have endless fucking books. But I turned my TV against the wall, and the older homeboy who had the spot up top, Buddy Rogers from Fontana, he just signs down to me. He calls me to the window. My cellie, Steve at the time, he goes, "Hey Wes, Buddy wants you at the window." So I go over to the window. Window's about this fucking wide, this tall, and I'm looking up to the top tier. And I'm like, "What's up, homeboy?" And he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Why? Why'd you turn your TV off?" Because they thought I was hard timing. They thought I was going through it. Like, these dudes in there are still thinking pleasure is the way to happiness. Like, when you get your pleasantries, you get your fucking ho-hos, your zuzus, your wham-whams. That's what we call fucking snacks in there. When you get your baby boy snacks, and you get your TV, and you get your stuff, your little creature comforts, life's going to get better. Fuck no, it made it worse for me. It made it worse. I didn't want that. I found within that if I stepped into the pain, that if I faced it head on, it would go away quicker. It just stayed stagnant when I didn't face it. Those what ifs just kept crawling in my head. Those questions, those questions of why. Why don't they write me? Why aren't they answering? Why can't we come off lockdown? Why are we doing this? That's that victim shit. That's when I noticed that victim shit. Some motherfucker in my comments earlier was like, "Oh yeah, real positive, 10 million jobs lost." Oh fucking well. Oh well. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Bitch about it and cry about it and point fingers? Or are you gonna get to it? There's jobs still. People are still working. Get one of those. I know it's not that easy, but nothing worth doing is. There will be a silver lining. There was a time in your life where you didn't have a job and you had no money, right? And then you made it to where you are now, right? What the fuck? How is this any different? Why is it woe is me? None of us are that bad. We're in America. Most of us are in America. But I mean, there's people around the world who live much worse than us. And my heart goes out to those people. When I was in the fucking shoe, I thought about people in fucking these impoverished countries who live horrific life conditions. Horrific. In your times of thinking woe is me, when you're being selfish, thinking just about you, think about people who had it worse. And they had it worse way before fucking coronavirus. You don't have it that fucking bad, really, do you? Be fucking honest. I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I don't. Because guess what? I think when people message me, they forgot what I went through. And fuck me, when I was going through that, I was thinking the way I'm telling you now. I was thinking from abundance. I was thinking, I'm so fucking strong, I don't care. I'm gonna materialize this love and strength in my heart while I'm sitting in silence in the morning, and I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna think of it as vapor leaving my chest, leaving my heart, going to these people in these other countries who don't have 3 meals. I had 3 shitty trays. I was okay. I had 3 shitty trays. I wasn't starving. I had a roof over my head. There's people who didn't have that. So I imagined, I sat in deep silence, deep meditation, and I would think about all my strength and all my love coming from my heart as if it was vapor going to the people who needed it most. And these could have been fictional people I made up in my head, but I like to believe that these were real people who really needed me, and I was really sending it to them, and they really received it, and it really made their day. The glow of one warm thought during your worst days is everything. And why do you think I retained all this wisdom and all these quotes? Because I was dying inside. My heart was broken. I didn't know when I'd ever see my parents again. It had been 5 years at this point, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 fucking years that I hadn't seen my mother's face. You guys, don't fucking just zero in on your fucking situation. 30,000 foot view. It's not that bad. Your fucking problems are minuscule. It's time to spend every ounce of energy finding the solution, because if one motherfucker found it, then you can find it too. Get to fucking work.